going on, guys? It's Zeit. I am back, and we are playing some Marvel Heroes. Now, as you can see from the footage, I am playing Mr. Deadpool, and I will be making this a guide for you today. Now, the guide that I'm going to be showing you, I doubt it would work for PvP, but as you can see from the footage, he is definitely wrecking face in PvE. This is basically my boss killing solo guide, because some of the bosses, especially when you get further on into the dailies, are pretty rough, so you definitely need a survivable build in order to get through it. And this is what I've come up with so far, so let's get right into the details. Alright, noobs, listen up! There's nothing wrong with being a noob. You've searched this video because you want to know, how do I build Deadpool? Well, like I said, let's start with the basics, and with the basics comes the basic powers. Basic powers in ARPGs, or in this case, an MMO ARPG, boy that's a mouthful, is basically used in order to cause damage while you're out of either spirit or mana, depending on what game you play, because that particular ability takes no spirit or mana to use. In some cases, how you build your character, it will also help you gain spirit, because there's some items out there that will be grant spirit on basic hit. So it's pretty useful to have. Anywho, let's look in Bang Bang, which is the very first basic power you use, and as you can see at the top it says basic power, fighting power. Basic just tells you that yes, this does not use spirit. Fighting power tells you which particular stat it will draw damage from on your character sheet, which I'll go into detail in a different video. As you can see, I have it at rank 3, and it does 73 to 82 per shot, rate of 5 per second, so not particularly fast, but a little faster than using your melee off the start. As you can see, it has synergy. Synergies basically means for every point you have in these other two abilities, it will increase the damage for this one. Now, I will say, do not really power up this one too much at the beginning. Put maybe 2, maybe 3 points into it, but try and save your points for the next ability that I'm going to be talking about, because it's better to kind of blow up your most powerful ability at lower levels, and you'll be much stronger in the long run. But keep in mind that this will be maxed out at some point anyways, because it is the synergy for Armor Buster, which is the basic that you'll be using at max level. Alright, on to the key ability that you'll be using in this build, the staple as it were, foot gougers. Now these are very, very powerful AoEs to use. As you can see from my current rank in here, it says 797 damage at rank 14. Now I'm currently level 30, and I believe I'm doing almost 2,000 damage with it. I believe. I have not really been paying attention, but because I've been on a leveling frenzy trying to get footage for you guys. But the first thing I'm going to tell you about this ability is that currently, as the release date, before the release date, the slow effect does not work with this ability. But even if that slow effect worked, this ability is still overpowered. Oh, ooh, no, wait, sorry. If there's any devs watching, this ability is not overpowered. Just ignore that I just said that. Completely ignore it, okay? This ability is very good. The effect duration is 3 seconds, and then as you'll see from the footage, there will be an AoE, a graphic on the ground showing you how far out it goes. It goes a little further than the graphic. The spirit cost is almost 20, which is kind of high. The cooldown is 1 second. Now, I'm going to have to cover that cooldown in a second to explain it even further. But the bleed is very good. It does high damage. In the video, you'll probably see it doing about 165 per tick. It'll tick either 4 or 5 times, and it does it over a very short period of time, 3 seconds. Now, this is the ability I use to kill bosses that I have to kite, because I can't necessarily be up close, because they're anti-melee or they have knockbacks, and it makes them very difficult to fight. So Magneto's a prime example with his Aura of Destruction. You want to kite him as often as possible. So this is the ability that allows you to do that, since it stays on the ground for 3 seconds. This is the one that you want to keep maxed out at all times, every time you level. If you can put a point into it, put a point into it. This will go alongside with your healing factor, as you'll see some footage of as well, because the healing factor will help you take some damage without even having to worry about using healing packs. As you can see here, the superior healing factor passive power is very straightforward. Regenerate 480 health per minute, and then next rank, regenerate 540 per minute. So it'll change as your ranks go up. Very simple, passive, very easy. Alright, so here I'm displaying the range for the foot gougers, and as you can see, it'll tick for 4 times. Now here's an important tip for you guys. Do not double stack, because as you will see here, for 5 ticks, you stack 2 of them, there should have been 8 ticks total. 4 ticks per foot gouger. But as you can see, for some reason, they do not overlap very well. So one thing to make sure, yeah, it might have a 1-second cooldown, but try not to spam it over the same spot because it will not calculate the damage properly. Alright, we're moving on to Armor Buster. It's a basic fighting power, just like the last one. Currently I have it at rank 8, as per this video. Physical damage of 107 to 131. Doesn't seem like a lot, so you'll take a look at the footage and you'll see the speed of the shots is what's important. Rate of fire 5 per second, which I'm not sure how accurate that is because it seems like it actually shoots a lot faster than the previous Bang Bang. But then again, it could be also part of it doing more damage due to the physical defense reduction of -120 per shot. The duration of that, by the way, is 5 seconds, as you can read. The synergies are 2.5% per point in Bang Bang and Bang Boom. Now, as my build goes on, it basically is going to end with one of those only being at 17 because there's movement abilities that I go into. So, honestly, it doesn't really matter to me which one I go into, but you might like using Bang Boom over Bang Bang. So, just decide through your personal preference which one you would prefer to put those 20 points into, because the other one will most likely end up at 17 or 15, depending on what variation of build you go with. Awesome Lunge of Death. Yes, it is very awesome. Now my suggestion is to not put points into this ability. What? Yeah, I know. It seems kind of crazy. Now the reason I say this is because I think the best way to use this ability is without wasting 2 points that could be used on synergies elsewhere at endgame. So while you're leveling, yeah, probably a good idea. Put 1 point into the prerequisite ability, and then 1 point into Awesome Lunge of Death, so you'll always have access to it. But later on, when you start getting gear with more plus to abilities on it, you'll want to make sure that you at least have one piece of gear with plus to Awesome Lunge of Death on it, because in that way you can use it without having, like I said, those points wasted on just trying to get this ability, as where you can use them in a min-max situation to max out your DPS for your basic attack or your synergies or wherever you want to stick those points. This is I prefer this one over the body slide by 1, but I mean, everyone's different. I like having that preset range that I can go. As you can see in the video, you need this to get in, drop your caltrops, and get out. So for me, it's a very important part of my build. But you might be different. You might prefer to have the body slide by 1 feature where you can click exactly where you want to go with the teleport ability and then teleport out. It can technically be faster to use that ability, but at the same time it costs slightly more, and sometimes it's easier just face the right direction and know you're going a preset distance versus accidentally clicking like maybe a body distance away and you're just like, shit, I just wasted spirit. I found I did that a lot. But I'm also fail at video games sometimes, so I mean, maybe you're a pro and body slide for 1 is for you. So remember guys, builds always come down to personal preference. That brings me to God Mode, because that's pretty much where the footage was going. But God Mode is a very useful ability, or passive I should say. It's the oh shit button without actually having a button. You get down to a certain amount of health. I don't know what specifically it is, but I know that there are some bosses out there that can actually bring you past that point and just kill you before it goes off. But if you're taking incrementally small amounts of damage over and over and over again, there's a good chance that God Mode will save your ass. Now it has, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a 30-second cooldown before, but now it has a 1.5-minute cooldown, so you gotta pay attention to it. You can't be relying on this ability, but it is definitely good to have when all else fails and you go into panic mode. My suggestion is at least 1 point into it, and then anything that will have a plus to all skills or a plus to that specific ability will increase the duration of how God Mode will last. Like for me right now, as you can see, it'll last about 6 seconds. So that gives you enough time to hit your med packs, hit your healing factor, and GTFO, man, because if you need this ability to go off, then you're in a world of hurt, and any other class would have died at that point, basically. Error. Error. Alright, as you can see, Deadpool here has deliciously hacked the servers and caused all the NPCs to freeze in place. So that's his ultimate, and it's a pretty interesting ultimate. I am a little perturbed that it's a 20-minute cooldown, which is frickin' ridiculous. I mean, most of the ultimates kinda suck for a 20-minute cooldown. I mean, you can't use it on a boss, which sucks, but I mean, I understand the reasoning behind that is we don't want you to make a boss easy mode. However, for an ability that lasts 15 seconds and is in a range of your screen, basically, makes it pretty weak. I mean, I know there's some ultimates out there that are pretty good, but another example of a bad ultimate is Hulk's. Hulk's ultimate is basically he just like jumps up into the sky, comes back down, and smashes the shit out of everything on the screen. But 20-minute cooldown for about 3 seconds of animation. 20 minutes. I'm hoping the devs will go back and kind of check all this stuff out and kind of rebalance stuff as per ability, because some abilities definitely deserve 20-minute cooldown. Some deserve much shorter. I feel that Deadpool's probably deserves between a 5 and 8 minute cooldown. Hulk's should be, honestly, 3 to 5 minutes. No more than 5 minutes. But, I mean, each character, like I said, is different, as you can see. Deadpool's a little hacking genius, apparently, and hacks the game server. So it's, I like the idea. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty nifty, but I definitely feel that there's a shorter cooldown to be had here. Alright, let's move on to a boss fight. I'm showing you the daily Dr. Octopus fight, and as you can see, I opened up with a dash straight into the Caltrops, and then right after I dropped my Caltrops and dashed through him. I should have honestly waited till he was a little closer before I did the drop and dash, but that's two different situations that I use on bosses like this. I like to use this one especially on the Doc Doom fight. He was the first time I soloed him, I was level 23, which was extremely difficult, and I do not suggest doing it unless you guys have a lot of time. As in Phase 3, he does heal himself up if you're not careful, and he can reach full within like 2 to 3 seconds. So, as you can see, like I said, the biggest strategy for this spec is to drop your Caltrops and dash, or dash and then drop your Caltrops, because that's the base of your damage. You're going to be doing the most with that, and your basic attacks when your Caltrops are down. Do not, like I said previously in the video, double stack your Caltrops for any reason at all, because it just does not stack the damage. For some reason it's not calculating it properly, I'm not sure why, but maybe it's a bug in the coding, I don't know. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for the next video, because I will be doing more tutorial videos in the future. Maybe even some Let's Plays and or live streaming once I get the new computer up and running. All New will be with me, and as most of you know who are already subscribed, All New and I tend to be jackasses, so we are quite entertaining to watch from time to time, kind of shoveling shit in each other's face, so to speak. So, hope to catch you on the flip side, guys. Peace.